Hey, RK, Sylogist Mission ERP is a fund accounting solution for nonprofits. It's built on Microsoft Business Central. What are the five key capabilities of Sylogist Mission ERP above and beyond all the great things that BC offers that nonprofits really value about the product?
Sylogist Mission has extended Business Central in a number of key ways that are very helpful to nonprofit accounting teams and the nonprofit finance office. First way is we have added a fund card and we have added a fund dimension that is required on every transaction. So nonprofit accounting requires the use of fund accounting, and along with that comes some detailed interfund accounting that can happen as a result of the operations of a nonprofit. And you can see here that we have a fund card, which is unique to Sylogist Mission. And on that fund card, we are tracking a fund class, so restricted, unrestricted. All of our nonprofit clients certainly have to provide detailed reporting to their donors, to their board, to their auditors around the restrictions associated with their restricted net assets. They need to be able to provide detailed information around how those restricted net assets were used and be able to attest to the fact that they were used in compliance with their donor or their grantor's stated purpose. There's also a fund type. So along with the fund class, you can track fund type. So whether you have a group of funds that are all endowments or a group of funds that are charitable purposes or marine programs, or if they're grants or awards, we're tracking those things on the fund record as well. And that enables us, because we have a fund record, to run a trial balance, a balance sheet, and detailed reporting by fund. So whenever we receive a new award or whenever our clients receive new awards, they typically create a new fund, and then all of the transactions start flowing through that. The other way that we've extended Business Central for Sylogist Mission, that it goes hand in hand with the fund comment I just made, is that we have added 8 global dimensions to the Business Central chart of accounts, or dimensions, if you will. So inside of Business Central, there are 2 dimensions that go across all of the subledgers. Inside of Sylogist Mission, we have 8 global dimensions. So you can see on this screen here, this is the way that this particular demo company is set up. And GL account, general ledger, natural account, revenues, expense, assets, and liabilities, as well as funds. Those are all required on every transaction. And then we have 8 additional dimensions that we can use for financial reporting purposes and tracking purposes. And that really allows us to help those organizations that are conducting many programs across a broad geographic area, and they have lots of financial reporting they need to do associated with that. A third way that we have extended the solution is with our batch allocations. Batch allocations are important because nonprofits have month-end tasks where they need to allocate salaries across a number of programs. They need to allocate fringe benefits across a number of programs. And we can automate those things: the overhead, the fringe benefit expenses, the interest, our investment pool gains and losses. And we have automated support calculations, and we can post periodic allocations in a repetitive way that is not so tedious and labor intensive as to what they're used to. And what I'm showing you here is just a very detailed batch allocation that goes through a complex calculation to calculate the fringe benefits and then allocate those fringe benefits out to 3 different general ledger accounts and dimensions. So any of those organizations that are involved in managing endowments or managing invested funds, we can help them. Any of those organizations that are allocating resources across many different programs or activities, we can help them with the batch allocations as well. And anybody that is engaged in award management, the batch allocations are helpful there as well. So that brings me to the 4th one, which is award management. We have created a module called Award Management, and that allows our grant-funded and our grant-funded organizations, we provide them with some features and functionality that allows them to track their awards across fiscal years. What I'm showing you here is an award card. And on the award card, there's lots of information that we can track, things that our nonprofit clients have to track as a result of receiving those funds. So they're tracking the sponsoring funder, Who is that? And we've linked that to the accounts receivable module so that we can bill out for those things. We are tracking when the grant start date and end date is. I would like to point out that our grant start date and end dates can go across fiscal years. We could have a 5-year, 10-year grant. And if that is not in line with our accounting fiscal year, that is no problem. We can still do the reporting necessary in this grant management module. We are tracking the classification of the grants, the reference numbers, the funder's reference number, the CFDA number, the appropriation number. And then most importantly, we can use our batch allocation module to implement some revenue recognition rules and indirect cost recovery rules. In our nonprofit customers, the accounting staff, they love these rules because at the end of the month, if they're managing, dozens and hundreds of grants, they can run a process to recognize the revenue associated with all those grants, and they can run a process to recognize the indirect costs associated with those as well. And rather than managing that on a spreadsheet or managing it on some sort of shared file, they can click through a process, use the batch allocations, look at all the activities that run through any of these award ledgers, and then calculate the appropriate journal entry for revenue or indirect cost. Lastly, I would just like to point out that because Sylogist Mission is built on Business Central, we can leverage the functionality and the research and development of Microsoft. And that is a really important feature because we want to use all those tools. And the number one tool everybody's talking about right now is Copilot and AI. So you can see here that I'm showing you a landing page, and there's the Copilot chat function right built into the solution. And I could prompt it with natural language to find stuff. I could ask it to look up a purchase order, look up a sales invoice, go to a page. I could ask it to explain a field name or help me understand a process. And if I go to the bank reconciliation, you are going to see that I can reconcile my bank account with Copilot. There's a Copilot icon right there. I could reconcile this very easily. And it's really cool that we are able to leverage these features. And there are many other ways that we can leverage Copilot. And given the nature of the labor market, many of our nonprofit clients are lacking the resources that they would typically want to perform a month-end close. And using tools like Copilot can help bridge that gap between the resources they have and getting the most out of those folks.